Hey guys, hopefully everyone is doing well. Today's target is to solve question number 13.4. The chapter which we are related with is leverage and capital structure. Managerial finance is our book by Gitman or Gitman, and I have tried to mention these informations over here so that you can have a complete or comprehensive idea what right now we are doing. Specific topic which we are related with is break-even analysis, and we have discussed break-even is a situation where you don't have any profit and you are not facing loss as well. The point where is no profit, no loss situation. In last three questions we have already discussed there are two types of break-even points. Initially we had calculated break-even point in terms of unit, but we can calculate break-even point in terms of dollars or amount. Right now we are related with break-even units. You can see find the operating break-even point in terms of units. Actually the person is related to music trading and he wants to sell, or he has a view of selling CDs. Though this edition is 13th edition, at this time CDs were not a hot product to be sold out. Right now it is abundant, but just consider that it's a business and he wants to sell his product, music CDs, and some information related to CDs is given over here, but right now we will focus upon break even point. The initial thing which you will keep it in your mind is break even point, a point where your revenue is equal to your cost. In other words, break even point where there is no profit, no loss. Alright, let's come over here and we are going to calculate first requirement, break even point in terms of units. We will write the formula first, break even point, but keep it in mind we are focusing upon units, break even units. For this what we need is fixed cost, and then you will divide it with CM per unit. This is our formula, and let's talk about what is fixed cost. A cost which will never be altered, which will not change by the change in production. A cost which is fixed, no matter if you are producing 10,000 number of units or you are producing 10 lakh number of units, that cost would be same. Your level of production is low or your level of production is at its peak, that cost would be same. If you are working with small number of workers or you are working with large number of workers, that cost would be same. Example which we have taken earlier as well, that was if you are a manufacturing concern and you are working on a factory building which you have hired on rent. So rent of factory building would be an excellent example of fixed cost. So try to understand, if today there are 50 workers, tomorrow there are 5,000 workers in the same building, and next day you have 500 workers, and in the next day you have just 100 workers. No matter how much number of workers are working in the factory, you will pay the fixed rate, fixed amount of rent, and that is why it is fixed cost. Another example which we can take is salary of clerk or cashier, or salary of computer operator of factory. So hopefully you are now getting the point. No matter what level of production is, these are examples: rent of factory, salary of clerk, cashier, computer operator. These workers are not associated with the production. No matter If you have produced 10,000 number of units, salary of clerk will same. If you are producing 5,000, that means half in comparison, half number of units you have produced. Even then, salary of clerk would be the same. So this is your fixed cost. And second factor is CM, and it is called contribution margin, and we denote it with CM. And how do you calculate CM? The difference between variable cost and sales. So what you will do, you will subtract your variable cost from sales, right? Sales, and then you will subtract your variable cost, with which you will get your contribution margin. Now point is, here in our formula, contribution margin per unit is mentioned. So same formula you will use again, contribution margin, but we need per unit. So it would be CM per unit. And how would you calculate? Above formula will be reused. You will write sales, but besides sales you will use sale per unit, and you will subtract your variable cost, but you will use variable cost per unit. So in this way your formula is completed. So what you will do to calculate contribution margin unit, you need sales per unit and will subtract variable cost per unit. So in this way your part of question would be completed. And here's something else was present, let me delete it. Come over here, what we need is fixed cost in CM per unit. So first factor is your fixed cost, and it is given in your question. Let's get back to the question, and here you can see annual. Please note it down, it is annual. Annual fixed operating cost is 73,500. So you can write 73,500. First factor we have noted down 73,500, and next is CM per unit we will calculate, and we'll follow this formula CM per unit. Abbreviation can be used right now. CM per unit is needed, and for this we will calculate CM per unit. You need to subtract sales per unit and variable cost per unit. Okay, so let's get back to the question and see. CDs will be sold for 13.98. Sold means sale price per unit we have got, and that is 13.98. And you need to subtract variable cost. Go back to the question. Variable operating cost is 10.48. So you can write 10.48 over here. Our statement has been completed. Now you can put it on your calculator. So you have got your CM per unit. This was required, and you can put it over here 3.5. Can you see two requirements, two inputs were needed? Fixed cost we have seen from question and mentioned over here 73,500, and CM per unit we have calculated 3.5. We are now open to put it in our formula. 73,500 divided by 3.5. Statement has been completed. We can now put it on our calculator and got the amount. So we have got 21,000 as break-even number of units. By hand it has been written first answer 21,000 of A, and 21,000 has been calculated over here. It means our first part has been completed. Let's mark it as completed. Okay, so A answer is completed. Now we will look at B point. There are few older things also present over here. They are unnecessary to be here. Let's delete them. Okay, let's talk about what is our B point. Calculate total operating cost at the break-even volume found in part A. Total operating cost. For that you will have to work a bit. What you need is number of units, and then you will see how much is your sales amount. Then you need to calculate your cost. This cost will have three different factors, and you will be related with all these three factors. Okay, total cost is needed, and here you will put all these three elements related to total cost. First we need to have fixed cost, then you will see your variable cost, and finally you will be able to calculate your total cost. How? You will add fixed cost and variable cost. So guys, we have completed our procedure to calculate total operating cost. Come over here. What is required? Calculate total operating cost. This is your total operating cost. Now sales amount is not required. You may calculate or you may not calculate. It's up to you. Number of units which we have calculated is 21,000. We can point out over here. Fixed cost. What we have discussed earlier, that fixed cost is a cost which will never be altered. No matter if you are working for low number of units or you are working for large number of units, your cost would be remain same. It means if you have already discussed that your sales or your fixed cost, which was mentioned in your question, 73,500. It means you are working for 21,000, for 10,000 or for 25,000. This cost will remain same. And this has been mentioned in your question, 73,500. Variable cost would be calculated, and obviously for that you need to have your units, and you will multiply it with per unit variable cost. Units over here 21,000. Please note it down, and you need to multiply it with per unit variable cost. And here you can see variable cost per unit 10.48 was mentioned in your question, so you can write 10.48. Please note it down. As I will click enter, these calculations or this statement would be vanished, so it's better to note it down. Okay, or instead of this I am writing it so that it should not be vanished. Over here now the statement can be put on your calculator, 21,000, and that would be multiplied with 10.48, which is your per unit variable cost that has been calculated. What we have done, 21,000 multiplied by 10.48. Little strange answer we are getting, but it's okay. Your fixed cost is 73,000, and you can put it to your second line. Better to write over here, and this is your variable cost. Now finally we can calculate our total cost, which is sum of fixed cost and variable cost. This fixed cost can be denoted by FC. So what we need, FC plus VC. So here you can write down the statement, 73,500 Look over here. This was your fixed cost, and you need to add double two double zero 80, what it is, your variable cost. Statement has been completed, and now we can put it on our calculator. Both amounts would be added to get our total cost. So here we have our target 293580 is what? It's your total cost. Let's get back to the question and see your second answer, 293580, and we have 293580. B part we have solved, 293580. Since it has been completed, let's mark it as it has been done. Now we will see our C point. Okay, if you want to have a break over here, what you can do, stop this lecture or pause this lecture over here, repeat everything you have seen over here and memorize it, understand it, and it should not be forgotten afterwards. C part is saying if Barry, name of organization, estimate that minimum he can sell 2000 CDs per month. So what he wants to know, he is selling 2000 CDs per month. Come to the question. You can see your costs are given per annum, annual fixed cost, while here it has been mentioned that he can sell 2000 CDs per month. Both units are not matched. Your costs are given in the question. They are for full year per annum, while number of units sold mentioned over here, it is per month. So either change this per month into annual, or the amounts which are given for full year, change them into per month. It is easy to change this per month into whole year, and then we can proceed to our questions. Units which are given are per month, and they are 2000. And what you can do, you can change it into per annum. For that purpose, it's simple thing. If you are selling your units 2000 units 2000, for how much period you are taking, period or time you are taking, 1 month, and these are number of units, and we want to know how many number of units would be sold in a year. In 1 year, how many number of months? 12 months. And here you have got your X. In this way, by applying a unitary method, you can complete your calculation. Kindly understand, it's the easy thing. If you don't want to apply this unitary method, you may not apply. But please try to understand that with this, you will never be misguided. Now here, simple, this is the procedure which we used to do in our 6th or 7th class. That is why I'm saying if you will apply unitary method, you will never be defeated, you will never be deceived, and you will get the exact answer. X would be multiplied with 1, you will get X on left side. On right side, what you will get, we are multiplying following the rule of cross multiplication. X is multiplied with 1 and 2000 would be multiplied with 12. In this way, next step can be taken, 2000 multiplied by 12, and what is on your left side, that would be your X. What we have calculated, in 1 month 2000 number of units are calculated. In 12 months, how many units would be calculated? So what we have done, these are units per annum. So here let's see the requirement of the question, what it is. If Barry estimates that minimum he can sell 2000 CDs per month, should he go to the music business? Answer is very clear, but you will have to create a conceptual scenario in your brain. Go back to part A where we have calculated break even point. Break even point means a point where there is no profit, no loss. And the answer was 21,000 units since it was required to calculate numbers. So it means in a year, if this business is selling 21,000 CDs, that would be a stage where there will not be any profit, there will not be any loss as well. Now please, I need your focus. Even a single unit more than that of 21,000, if this business is selling, that would be a situation where you will get your profit. I'm repeating this concept. 21,000 is your break even point, the point where there is no profit, no loss. Even a single unit when you will sell more than that of 21,000, that unit will bring some profit. And look at over here, our point is suggesting here we are selling 24,000 number of units per month, or units per annum. We have 24,000. So now I think instead of getting answer from me, you should give the answer. If break even point is at 21,000 number of units and now he is selling 24,000, would this be a favorable situation or unfavorable situation? Hopefully someone of you will give the correct answer. If at 21,000 it's break even point, no profit, no loss. So right now the situation is he is selling 24,000. It means 3,000 units more than that of break even point. Obviously, more number of units than break even point means you are getting profit. Less than break even point you will face loss. More than break even point you will get profit. So what would be your answer? He is asking, should he do this business? Say yes, because number of unit he is now selling is more than that of your break even point. Even a single unit more than break even point will bring profit. Right now we are selling 3,000 units more than that of break even point. So it's a favorable situation for the business. So you will say yes, he should go for this. Our 3 points completed. Now we will go for D point and we'll see what is required in our question. Number D point is saying how much earning. EBIT means earning before interest and tax. Earning before interest and tax. Pause the video right now and write down what I have said. EBIT is abbreviation and you will write earning before interest and tax. This is called net margin. Will be realized if he sells minimum 2,000 number of units. So you are required to calculate your net margin. For that you need to construct contribution margin income statement, which we have already discussed. Contribution margin format income statement, under which what you will do, you need to put three different factors. Let's extend it so that everything could be in same way. What I have said, you need three different factors to calculate your contribution margin format income statement. First you need sales. And what three factors you need? First of all, you will have to put your units, then per unit, and finally the amount, which is actually when you will multiply your units and per unit, you will get your total amount. So here we are required to calculate your income. Okay, and what is his requirement? He is saying if she sells minimum 2,000 per month, and we have already calculated it that if 2,000 units are per month, then in whole year he or she will be calculating 24,000 number of units. So in the same situation, 2000 per month or 24,000 in a year. So normally whenever you will make your income statement, it would be for a full year, not for each month. First we are writing sales, and per unit sale price was present in your question. Look over here, sale 13.98. You can put 13.98 in per unit sale price. Okay, next step is to subtract less variable cost, with which you can get your contribution margin, and then you will subtract your fixed cost. You will get your net margin. This is called contribution margin format income statement. With this you can calculate your net margin or earning before interest and tax. This net margin is also called earning before interest and tax, EBIT. Normally we don't use it. So in this way, requirement of the question would be completed. Sales, we have already mentioned number of units of sales and per unit cost or per unit amount of sales. Secondly, please understand that number of unit for sale will always be similar to number of unit of variable cost and number of unit of contribution margin. Why? If you are selling 24,000 number of unit, it is a matter of automatically understood. It's an understood matter that you have manufactured those 24,000 units. It's impossible that you are manufacturing 20,000 or less number of units and you are selling 24,000. Please understand, we are not traders. We are with financial management or cost accounting. Under cost and management accounting, we will never be trading. We will be manufacturing. So right now we are manufacturing concern. So it is understood matter that if you are selling 24,000, these 24,000 units would have been manufactured as well. So same number of units you will write for your variable cost, same number of units you will write for your contribution margin. At this stage, you have completed first column. This would be used to calculate for your number of units, and right now we will put our per unit variable cost, which was given in your question. Look over here. Variable operating cost was 10.48. Put 10.48 over here. Please understand what we are going to do. Contribution margin format income statement we are making, with which we can calculate EBIT, which is our fourth requirement. Now what we can calculate is our contribution margin. How? You will subtract your variable cost from sales. So this is your per unit sale, this is per unit variable cost. When you will subtract each of these, you will get contribution margin. But what? It is per unit. Whole column will be used for per annum factors. 13.98 was your sale price, 10.48 was your variable cost. So this way your per unit contribution margin has also been calculated. Here we will calculate total amount, which will be a product of units and per unit. Now it's simple thing, 24,000 units and multiply it with per unit sale price 13.98. We have got total amount of sales. Now total amount of variable cost, again units multiply with per unit variable cost. 24,000 were number of units and 10.48 was your per unit variable cost. After that you can calculate your contribution margin, which is difference between variable cost and sales. So what you will do, you will subtract your variable cost from sale. Amount of sale was 33. Look over here, this was amount of sale 335520, and you will subtract 3355. Okay. Subtract your variable cost 251520. We have got our contribution margin, which is 84,000. Go back to the question and see, we have 73,500 as our fixed cost. So you can put 73,500 as your fixed cost. Finally, you can calculate your net margin or earning before interest and tax. How? You will subtract your fixed cost from contribution margin. Contribution margin was 84,000, and then you will subtract your fixed cost, which was 73,500. So we have got our net margin. Let's get back to the question, and we have got fourth answer, which is 10,500, and what we have calculated is also 10,400. This is point D, contribution margin format income statement. We have completed. Now let's review the question. There were 4 points we were asked to calculate. Break even point in terms of unit, 21,000 was the answer, and we have calculated 21,000. Then for B point, break even total operating cost, we were asked to calculate. Here is your B point, and 293,580. 293,580 was your answer. Second part was solved, and third part you have said yes. And please, it's a request, just repeat this phenomena why we were saying yes. And then you had your D part where you have got your answer 10,500, and look at here, your answer 10,500, earning before interest and tax, or it is also called net margin, 10,500. Answer is matched. So all 4 answers are reviewed, matched, and this was your question. Though solution is in front of you, all answers are calculated, and I am sharing one another thing, that these lectures are absolutely and 100% live. There is no interruption, there is no editing, there is no pause. It's live recording. So all 4 answers were calculated without any interruption, without any editing, without any changes. So I am expecting, or I am wishing, that the students which are hearing, or the managers which are trying to understand the business accounting, they would be doing the same thing after learning this. So I am requesting you to please solve this question for 3 to 4 times. Though you have your solution, answers are matched, questions solution has been reviewed, but still if you have any problem, do not hesitate. You are very open to ask your questions regarding solution of this question through messages, text, or directly you can meet to put your queries. I will surely be available to answer these queries instantly, inshallah. 13.4 is completed, and we are hopeful that we will meet for the solution of any other question in future, inshallah. Up till then, please take care of yourself, and I'm requesting you to please pray for me as well, and requesting to repeat this question for 3-4 times as well. Thank you very much for your time. It's time to say goodbye. Allah Hafiz.